Who is the most evil person who is still alive? Omar al-Bashir immediately came to mind. Former president of Sudan who was behind the Darfur genocide. Absolutely vile human. Surprised I am not seeing Joseph Fritzl. One of the most heartbreaking cases I have ever heard of. Fritzl imprisoned his daughter in a tiny basement under his home, for 24 years at the age of 18. In these 24 years of imprisonment, Fritzl constantly raped his daughter, resulting in several miscarriages and 7 children. 3 of the children remained with their mother Elizabeth in captivity, 3 were raised by Fritzl and his wife, Rosemarie, and 1 was killed by Fritzl after birth, and disposed of in an incinerator. Fritzl would show Elizabeth porn videos, which he would then force her to reenact them with him, in front of her children, to humiliate her. Fritzl has previously also kept his mother, Maria, imprisoned in the same basement, and probably sexually abused her too. Joseph Fritzl is now serving a life sentence, and the Fritzl residence, as well as the basement where Elizabeth was imprisoned, can be visited in Amstetten, Austria. Edit: here is an interview with Joseph Fritzl, in which he cheerfully describes his life in prison. https://u2.b/f/gc2gyn0prg. Edit 2, TBE house can't be visited anymore. It was bought by someone who turned it into an apartment building and all flats are rented out. The basement also isn't accessible, as it was filled up with cement. Remember, the top comment on today's video will make it into tomorrow's video. Be sure to answer the question in the comments below. Minute Online, the Myanmar junta who commit the coup still actively killing their citizens every day. He recently airstrikes the village school resulting 11+ children death just because they heard rebels are hiding in the village. I'm going with Luis Garavito. He's a serial killer who was convicted of brutally murdering and raping 147 young boys, however the death toll is likely over 200. He is currently 65 years old and in prison. However, because he aided police in finding the bodies, his sentence was reduced. He could possibly be out of prison next year. Possibly Pedro Lopez if he's still alive. One of the most prolific serial killers in history who may have killed 300 people as of 1998 when he was released. His whereabouts are still unknown since '98. https://n.m.wiki.org/wiki/pedro_lopez_serial_killer. Australia Peter Scully. He's abused and tortured girls and infants, and has shown no remorse whatsoever. What about the people from the cartel videos? All of these political figures are evil as shit and I'm not saying they're not, but have they literally peeled people's faces off or cut somebody's heart out in front of their kid while they're still alive? Those people are as evil as they come. Lots of horrible people on here, still I can think of anyone worse than Felician Kabuga. Maybe you haven't even heard of him but he is one of the key persons responsible for the genocide of the Rwandan Tutsis in 1994. He is a multi-millionaire who had close ties to the dictator Juvenal Habyarimana's Hutu nationalist MRND party and the Akazu, an informal group of Hutu extremists who helped lead the Rwandan genocide. He also was the primary financier of Hutu extremist media outlets, such as the RTLM radio station and Kangura magazine, which advocated for the killing of the Tutsi minority. His radio stations played an instrumental part during the genocide as well. If you want to read more about it, here is a good article about it. https://www.aliyazira.com/feature/2020/6/7/music to kill to Rwandan genocide survivors remember RTLM. And on top of that he helped to fund the mass importation of 500,000 machetes in preparation for the genocide. I can't think of anyone who is currently alive who has caused more pain and suffering than him. He is evil incarnate. Hiroshi Miyano and the other 3 men who tortured that poor woman Junko for 40 days. Horrifying and sickening what did to that poor woman. She was raped over 500 times by over 100 men they invited over. Even worse things happened than that but I can't bear to write it out. Poor girl was in literal hell and was only 17 when she died. Miyano only served 17 years in jail and walks free. Gary Ridgway killed between 70 to 90 women and is still alive. Dennis Rader too. The bastards who murdered Junko Furuta, David Miscavige. Henry Kissinger. During the Vietnam War, he secretly derailed peace talks between the North and South Vietnamese, because he wanted the war to continue and helped his career, right through to the next president. He also personally planned bombings of targets in Cambodia, who were not even a part of the war. He had no military training or knowledge, he chose random targets he thought would stop supply lines to Vietnam. These were planned in secret, without Congress knowing. What disturbs me is that there are so many nominees. Once you've been to Cambodia you'll never stop wanting to beat Henry Kissinger to death with your bare hands. Anthony Bourdain.